Yo, crew, Captain's Log. Tonight is the closing chapter of this trilogy, and it's the hardest one for me to tell, because this time the story isn't ancient. It isn't from my youth. It isn't a legend passed down through families. This happened to me when I was about 50 years old. Fully grown, fully aware, decades of fishing, traveling, boating, and coastal knowledge behind me, and it shook me deeper than anything we'd ever seen. Let me take you back to that day on the Reid Pass. The day the coastline went quiet. Me and my dad were traveling the old water routes, those channels between abandoned towns, forgotten fish camps, and the remains of places only the old families remember. We'd done this trip countless times. We knew the water. We knew the land. We knew the feeling of danger long before we saw it. This day felt wrong the moment we rounded the point. As the Reid Pass glided past a clearing on the shore, we saw someone kneeling at the edge of the beach. It was my dad's nephew, my cousin, not working, not waving, not standing, kneeling absolutely still. Something about the way he held himself made both me and my dad go quiet. It wasn't natural. The emergence. Then it appeared. A spear of brilliant green light drifted out of the forest behind him. Silent, controlled, and moving with intention. It came to a stop right behind his head, like it knew exactly where to be. Then it shone a beam, not a glow, not a flash, but a direct beam straight into his eyes. I had fished my whole life. I'd seen lightning hit the water. I'd seen St. Elmo's fire on the rigging. I'd seen orbs in the sky, but I'd never seen anything like this. The green light hit him. He tilted his head upward, like something had reached inside and taken control of his body. Dad leaned forward, staring hard, and whispered, "Jordan, something's happening to you." We watched our cousin kneeling there as the beam held him in place, like hypnosis or a lock-on signal. Then as fast as someone flipping a switch, they both vanished. Or my cousin, gone as the beach swallowed them whole. The premonition, as the Reid Pass moved through the channel, something hit both me and my dad at the same moment. Heavy, crushing certainty, not fear, not shock, knowledge. My dad turned to me, his voice low and steady, and said words I will never forget. "He's doomed." I felt it too. Deep, final, undeniable. Two grown men, decades of ocean sense between us, hit with the exact same message, at the exact same second. That is not coincidence. That is not imagination. That is contact. Lost time as an adult. After the orb encounter, me and my dad began experiencing things we could not explain. Gaps in time, hours missing, blank spaces in memory, fishing seasons I can barely recall. Events my dad and I both forgot, even though we were adults. This wasn't childhood imagination. This wasn't a dream. This was two grown men, decades of experience, unable to account for stretches of their own lives, and it didn't stop there. The memory returned with the news. I was back home in Steveston when someone told me her cousin passed away. In that instant, as if a locked door in my mind had been kicked open, everything came flooding back. The beach, the green orb, the beam in his eyes, his body kneeling in a trance, the disappearance, certainty he wouldn't survive, the missing hours, missing days. I remembered it all. The moment I learned he was gone, we never saw him alive again after that. Orb incident was the last time I ever saw my cousin. breathing. What do you think, crew? This wasn't ancient myth. This wasn't passed down. This happened to me as a full-grown man, standing beside my father on a boat we trusted our whole lives. I want to ask you directly. What do you think that green orb was? A scanning device? A transport? A neurological override? A dimensional extraction? And why did both me and my dad lose time afterward? Have you ever experienced memory loss after witnessing something you couldn't explain? Tell me in the comments. Your stories help us see the bigger pattern. A closer to the trilogy. Episode 1 showed misunderstood tech in ancient times. Episode 2 showed a historical portal event. Episode 3 shows the truth. The phenomenon continues. It never ended. It is still here. It is still active. And sometimes it takes the people we love. This trilogy connected with you. If you want to hear the next series, if you want to support the channel, like the video, subscribe, and join the crew. Captain Jordan and his crew of ghosts over and out.